this is John Bollinger with Premier Guitar. Today we're taking a first look at the brand new Marshall reissue of their classic overdrive pedals. So starting from right to left, we have the Guv'nor, where it all started back in 1988. They released this pedal and essentially it was a Marshall in a box, a way to get that classic Marshall sound, in this case a JCM 800, on your pedal board in a box. Very successful pedal. Once that took off in '92, they came out with the BluesBreaker, my favorite of the line, and that was, of course, a model of their BluesBreaker amp. From there, they wanted a little more gas, so they went with the DriveMaster and then the ShredMaster. So it just kept getting more and more intense as they re-released. So before I tell you about all these pedals, take a second to subscribe below. Thank you very much. And I'll tell you about my signal chain. Playing my old Les Paul, I'm running into an Ernie Ball volume pedal and then directly into the pedals that are being powered by 9-volt batteries. However, put them on your board and they will go with a standard DC power as well. We're running that directly into a Bad Cat Black Cat that's mic'd with a Sennheiser 906 and running out to you all. And here is my bass tone, which is shockingly different than when the pedal is engaged. So let's start where it all started in 1988 with the Guv'nor. All of them share this red LED, which should pop pretty well. Solid metal construction. This one has a 3-band EQ, gain, and level. So pretty straight ahead at that point. Now right now I've got my treble down a bit, which is, you can season to taste, but I find overdrive's a little high-endy, so I usually shave off the high end, and that's no exception to this. Feels better with it down a bit for me. The middle and the bass is right about in the middle, and the gain is, I guess, probably at about 3 o'clock, and input right at 12. So back that gain becomes a little more subtle. It's kind of a nice subtle overdrive. So very cool tone, but I think where it shines is when you really let that dirt out there. Now, an interesting feature found only on the Guv'nor is that an effects loop. Right now I've got a MXR Echo going through it, but the effects loop is only engaged when the pedal is engaged. So say you have one song that you really want this specific whatever on it, you can put it in that effects loop and have it there when you want it specifically for that tone. So let's try it now with that engage. So, cool little party trick, right? Now let's go on to the BluesBreaker. I can remember the BluesBreaker being the kind of pedal you could find in a pawn shop back in the day. And then John Mayer famously came out, people saw it on his board, and suddenly you can't find them anywhere, and they've gone for as much as $2,000 on, online. So I'm glad that Marshall stepped in to stop the insanity and make it a reasonable price. So here it is. Again, here's my bass tone. Engage this. And again, on this one, you just have gain, treble, and volume. I've got the gain up a little bit, volume up a little bit, and the tone down just a tiny bit. Essentially what they're going for, whereas the other one is a JCM, this is more like the BluesBreaker, which is a little, well, bluesier, I guess you could say. But I think it's great for those kind of classic Clapton sort of tones. Love that. Love a Les Paul with it. And of course, you know, John Mayer is such an amazing player, and his tone is just always dialed in. So you can hear that on those albums, and I'm glad it's available to us. So let's move on to the DriveMaster. So if the Guv'nor or the BluesBreaker is not quite angry enough for you, Marshall was kind enough to come out with the very not kind DriveMaster, which is just angry. Gain, bass, mids, treble, and volume. I got my treble down a bit, got my gain up a bit, and mids up a bit. Let's hear what it sounds like. So not angry enough for you? Let's dime this pig and see what it does. Maybe a little more mids too while we're at it. But say you do want to get angrier than that. Well, That's where the ShredMaster comes in. Here's my bass tone. Here it is here. Now you might notice something a little different about that tone, and that comes down to this magic knob right there, which is the contour. So like the others, you've got gain, you've got volume, you've got bass and treble, but instead of mids, you've got this contour, and essentially, I find it kind of scoops it a little bit, gives you that sort of priest type tone, you know. To me, that is that instant metal in a box. This isn't something that comes up very often in my world, but wonderful to have that in your toolbox for when it does, because it's very difficult to replicate that on other overdrives that I use. So far we've heard it with humbuckers and a Les Paul, but let's try a Strat. You can hear what it does with single coils. I'm going to start with the least angry of the four, the BluesBreaker. To the Guv'nor. DriveMaster. Wow, that's a lot of shades of dirt for you. So that's a quick first look at these 4 very cool reissues of classic pedals back from '88 and '92. Good on you, Marshall. They come in at about $250, which is a fraction of what you'd pay for the vintage models. To read the full written review, go to premierguitar.com. While you're online, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, all that social media crap, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you know. Subscribe to the magazine. Why not? I know I do. This is John Bulge. Until next time, let's try a couple of these things together.